All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Franchise Empire newsletter. And today we're going to be talking about, we got some good stuff, some good opportunities to chat about on the docket today. And so we're going to talk about today. Welcome as you guys are joining. Actually, let me make sure to throw this up here. So today we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to talk about a high performing resale in Texas that's for sale for $425,000. In their FDD, they show average sales just over 1 million. We're going to talk about a franchise with median sales of 4.9 million. The average sales number was just really high. So I thought, let's use the median sales number. I know. Well, what kind of thinking with that? The top franchisee did $33 million, which is pretty wild to think about in a franchise business. And people say that owning a franchise is buying a job. I doubt the person that is running that $33 million business thinks that that's the case. We'll talk about someone who went from working 12 to 16-hour shifts. I think if my memory serves me right, I think some of them overnight to becoming a franchise owner. And we'll also talk about a podcast that we did with franchise owners of 20 years. They really shared a lot of pretty intimate things about their business that I think that you'd probably find helpful. So excited to jump in. We had a quick question. Let's see. You said, how do I contact you for franchise opportunities to get into? That's a great question. And that is not a planted question, ladies and gentlemen. The easiest way is to go to franchiseempire.com, click this blue button here, schedule a free call, and you'll be able to schedule a call with our team, and they can get the process started with you on franchise opportunities. And if you just wanted to kind of scroll and get like inside info on some different franchises, you got to find a franchise. And we are continuing to add to this. But oops, we have some kind of brands here that that we've worked with in the past or that we are familiar with. And we have all sorts of juicy information about them and kind of sharing some of the behind the scenes. And then, of course, we can check to see if your territory is available for, wherever you're looking. But with that said, let's jump in. For those of you who are watching the replay, will you please just drop a comment and with the word replay to let us know that you're watching replay? Always curious, like who's watching live, who's watching the replay, what does that look like? And also, as we're going through this, by the way, these newsletters take a good amount of time to put together and prepare for. What we would just ask in return, it's completely free, is wherever you're watching or consuming it, just to hit the like button. It helps to the algorithm to push the video out to more people. I would be forever grateful for that. Okay, so let's jump in. So the featured resale is a franchise called PuroClean, and PuroClean is a restoration and remediation franchise. Let me make sure I got this big enough. Yep, looks good. That helps individuals recover from unexpected property damage. And so, that could look like flooding or hurricane or fire, all sorts of different things. They began in franchising in 1991. They have over 400 units through North America. And their work has earned the reputation of being known as the paramedics of property damage. Pretty interesting. With a brand like this that has 400 units open, it's nearly impossible really to get a new territory because probably most, if not all of them, are sold out throughout the country. Definitely any popular markets are. So to be able to, come across a resale opportunity with brands like this are typically a great way to get into a brand where normally you wouldn't because it's just sold out. It's kind of like the analogy is there's this community, a very desirable community to live in, but it's not like you can just build a new house there because there's no more lots, right? And so maybe there's rarely homes that go for sale in that community, and all of a sudden there is one. It's like, ooh, cool, let's jump on it. This particular one is in Houston, Texas. It started in 2021. The 2023 revenue was $500,000. The 2024 projected total revenue is $1.2 million, and it has an asking price of $425,000. The vehicle fleet and tools and equipment are included in the sale. There are also 2 territories that are included. And financials, of course, would be provided upon signing an NDA and non-disclosure agreement. We'll talk about our take here in just a minute. But of course, if you guys are interested in, maybe you're in Texas and you're like, hey, I want to know more about this resale. I'd like to get the financials and take a look behind the scenes or look under the hood of this specific opportunity. Go to franchiseempire.com/resales, enter your information. You'll be able to set up a free call with our team so we can begin that process. Or if you're just interested in having a conversation so we can check, hey, what are, if any, resales available in your area? But let's dive in a little bit more. So, here's what's interesting is that according to the FDD, the average annual sales for all franchisees reported in the item 19 is 1.07 million, with the average investment of $230,000. That's pretty solid. So what that shows is that this. Okay, actually, this was underperforming. Now that means it's performing. Assuming they hit that projected total revenue, that means they would be operating slightly above average. Service lines include fire and smoke damage, emergency water removal, mold removal, biohazard cleanup, and reconstruction. So, wow, this is really a business where there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in these sort of businesses. I'm familiar with this space. Non-weather related damage ranks second as the most common cause of homeowners insurance claims for PuroClean customers. So this isn't just something where it's like, hey, I got to live in Florida where there's hurricanes and flooding and all that stuff. Nope. This, non-weather related damage ranks second most common cause for claims. And a lot of the times in this sort of business, it's insurance companies that are paying the bill in many instances. Of course, not in all instances. So again, if you're interested in this resale, just having a conversation about what resales are available in your area, go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You do need to have a net worth of bare minimum $150,000 for a conversation even to make sense, so that you can get the appropriate funding for a resale, etc. Our average clients have net worths between $500,000 and $1 million on average, actually, and more, even higher. So just make sure before you schedule a conversation that you have like the overall financial wherewithal to, make a move on either buying a business or a franchise. And if you're going to have a partner do it that's funding it, make sure they're there on the call, please. Thank you in advance. Okay, let's and oh, by the way, if you guys have questions throughout all of this, feel free to drop your questions in the chat or the comment for those of you who are watching live, and I will take questions at the end. Quick client case study. So this gentleman, Lucky, and yes, that is his real name, Lucky, or at least the name that he uses. He was a laboratory analyst and would work 12 to 16 hour shifts, a lot of times overnight. And he had limited funds. Speaking of funding, he had limited funds to work with in terms of funding to be able to buy a franchise, but was very, very passionate about the senior care, personal care franchise space. He has a a family member who's disabled and has caregivers helping her. So he's really seen firsthand the impact they have on people's lives. And so he reached out, worked with us with our zero to profitable franchise system. And our team went out there, found some opportunities available in his market specifically, and then helped him through the process. And after a few months, he ended up buying a senior care franchise and is excited to have a better work-life balance. Now, of course, in the beginning, launching your business is going to be a lot of work, but certainly very different than 12 to 16-hour shifts in as a laboratory analyst. Cool. Let's keep rocking and rolling. All right, franchise of the week. Aha! I was just talking to someone about this. This is this week. I'm gonna send this to you on LinkedIn if you're not watching. Franchise of the week is a franchise called Citywide Facility Solutions. So they started in 1961 in Kansas City. They've been operating franchises since 2001, and there are no parent companies or predecessors. They have 3 corporate-owned territories, 91 franchise units, a $70,000 franchise fee, 5% royalty, a 1% national marketing fee. The total investment ranges from $173,000 to $372,000 to get up and open. Again, many people will typically, get an SBA loan for funding, put 20% down, which is typically the required amount, and then get a loan for the rest. Some people fund it with retirement funds, all sorts of different funding methods. We have all sorts of videos on that and support on how to get funding. The franchise term is 10 years for the franchise agreement. And so what does Citywide do? You might be wondering, what kind of franchise is this? Well, Citywide offers commercial janitorial services, carpet cleaning, window washing, and maintenance services for commercial and retail buildings. As the owner, you'll start your day by reviewing the previous day's performance and preparing for your morning meetings with your staff. As you lead your team, you will be responsible for managing inventory, analyzing data, problem solving to ensure that each client's facilities are running smoothly. And I would imagine one of the big things you would be doing in the beginning as an owner is business development, going out there, building relationships, prospecting to get contracts with companies and buildings. I'm sure at some point, once you grow, you'd probably hire a business development person and may have multiple business development people on your team. And maybe depending upon, how you're going about this, maybe you hire a business development person from the start, from the jump. But cool. So they've got some crazy numbers, by the way. So let's dive into some of their numbers. So let's just talk about the 2023 numbers. This came from their FDD 2024 franchise disclosure document. Okay, 2023 sales. This is wild. So let's just get the lowest. There was someone who did just $373,000 in sales, right? That was the lowest performer. Highest performer did $33 million in sales. Now, we don't know how many territories that person owns. So that's what we don't know, right? They could own 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 territories. Maybe not. Maybe it's one. Either way, $33 million a year business is wild with a franchise. The average is 7.8 million, and the median number in the middle is 4.9 million. And of course, there's some, parameters around the figures that are in the franchise disclosure document. We're not here to get into the nitty gritty of, all of the fine print. It's really just to, give a high level overview of different opportunities, kind of what overall performance is being achieved, and make sure that we show you the proper disclosures. And if you want to be introduced to the franchisor, you can. Actually, let me make sure that by the way, at any point, for any franchise, if you say, hey, we want to know what franchise is available in our area that kind of align with our goals, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory and schedule see if you qualify to schedule a call with our team. But including if you want to see if this franchise is available in your area. But let's dive into some more numbers. So this is monthly growth sales. This is first quartile. So first quartile, I would imagine of franchisees, top 25% is how I'm reading that. Monthly gross sales and net royalties. So, wow, monthly gross sales. Okay. Okay, so the average monthly sales, this is for, again, first quartile. Average monthly gross sales at the 12th month is $161,000. The lowest performer, $86,000. And the highest performer, $334,000. At the 24-month, I mean, you can see the numbers, right? They go up as the longer you're in business consistently. Every line goes up higher. Where by the 5th year, the average monthly gross sales, $544,000. The lowest, and again, this is for the first quartile, top 25% of performers, $350,000. What's crazy is okay. No, I forget it. But look, what I always tell people, it takes 3 years for your business to reach maturity. Everyone wants overnight success, and everyone wants, I want to quit my job and replace my income in year 1. Guys, it's probably, unless you find a resale that's producing that amount of profit already, and it even keeps paying you that profit after your loan payments, like, it's probably not going to happen. And that's oftentimes an unrealistic expectation, right? I know you'll talk to people and they'll make it look all sexy and they'll say all of this is possible. One of the things we pride ourselves on when we work with clients is like being real with you and setting the right expectations. And sometimes that means that it takes you out of the game and you're not going to buy a franchise because of it. But that's a good thing, right? So if you're expecting to hit this home run in year 1, then you probably have the wrong expectations. Because even if your business crushes it in the first year in terms of sales, right? Let's say you are this individual who at the 12th month is doing $330,000 in sales, or had that terms of monthly sales. Guess what? To grow your business, the best business owners are not pulling as much money as they can from the business in the first 3 years. They're taking whatever they need to sustain themselves in their life, and then they're reinvesting the rest of the money back into the business to hire more people, to spend more money on marketing. Like that's what you're doing. So that's the proper mindset to have, by the way. I know I'm going on a rant here. But I think it's important to know, because most people don't really understand that, especially if you've never run a business before, that investing in your business and investing in hiring people and infrastructure and all that stuff in the beginning is important. You don't want to pay yourself a lot of money in year 1. Unless you just want to be someone who does all the work in your business and you don't want to have a huge team. That could be okay too. But then you probably will become a slave to your business. Anyways, regardless, those are some crazy numbers for this business overall. Pretty cool numbers. So what are some of the benefits for the franchisee? Number 1, a proven business model. They've been successful for over 60 years in this industry. This gives franchisees the confidence to invest in a brand that has a proven track record and long-standing history, right? I know there's a lot of really exciting hot emerging franchisors. And at the end of the day, look, there are some great concepts that are emerging and they're disrupting their industry. But some of you out there, you're not comfortable with that sort of concept, right? You don't want an emerging franchisor. Some of you do, and that's who you need to be with. And that's the environment and culture you need to be around. But some of you are like, hey, I don't want to buy a franchise that's only been around a year or 2 years, no matter how fast they're growing. I want something that has stood the test of time and has their things figured out. Well, this is that sort of business, right? They have a strong support system, obviously including training, marketing, and ongoing support and kind of business coaching for their franchisees. They have multiple revenue streams. There's 20 different services to open doors and generate income from. When you say to open doors, like when you're prospecting, to be able to have a conversation around, providing your services. So they're really the ultimate flywheel business where, you can choose a specific niche to kind of hone in on, or focus on cross-selling, whatever it is. It provides a lot of opportunity. They also have national accounts. So most markets in the US have existing national accounts that are being run by corporate. And if there's no franchisee in that market, then what happens is you are immediately awarded. They are immediately awarded to any new franchisee who takes over those markets. Pretty cool. I would imagine maybe like there's a revenue split with a franchisor then because they sourced it. That sometimes happens. I'm not sure in this instance, but that's still pretty cool. Again, for those of you, as we're talking about this specific brand, if you're going, hey, wow, this sounds pretty cool and pretty interesting. I'd love to know more about this franchise. Number one. Number two, I want to know, do they still have my territory available? Then you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. You'll be able to enter your info, and our team will be able to check for you to see if your market that you want or that you live in, whatever it is available. And then, of course, extremely high gross sales. The majority of franchisees are lucky to get over $1 million in gross sales, but not for Citywide franchisees. The average revenue is around $8 million a year, which is just wild. And I know everyone goes, gross is not net. No shit. That's why I said gross and why I didn't say net. I get the point. You're saying it doesn't matter how much sales you make. What matters is how much profit you keep. I agree, and I totally understand. We provide the information that is available in the franchise disclosure document. If profit's available, we'll talk about profit. If sales are available, we're going to talk about sales. So I get it. I understand. But we're saying sales for a reason, because that's the information that we have access to. And we have to remain compliant, which is only quoting financial information that's in the franchise disclosure document. Okay? Makes sense. Thank you. All right. So I already said the whole thing. If you want to see a franchise available in your area, and it's down below. Again, if you guys have any questions at any point, drop them in the chat. I will hit some of them at the end, assuming that you're watching this live. If you're watching the replay, let me know. Type replay. Love to know who comes live and who watches live and who is watching the replay. Last but not least, this was a really, really cool podcast episode, by the way. I remember one of the most common questions and things that when I was much more active in responding to all the comments on the YouTube channel and would have, just hundreds of conversations with people, they wanted to know, like, what's it like being a franchise owner and kind of, how do you run your business and just some of the nuances, right? The behind the scenes. And so I did a podcast episode with these franchise owners and they of 20 years, and we did a deep dive into their experience, kind of their success strategies, some of the obstacles and struggles they've had, how they've overcome it, how they operate their business, their husband and wife, how they handle that, how they handle having like multiple territories. It was like a really cool conversation. And really just kind of, understanding like what their business is like and how they're running it. So for those of you who want to check that out, that is available on our Franchise Empire YouTube channel. So make sure to go and subscribe there. I'm going to show you in just a second. So, I'm not sharing. Let's see, present. I'm gonna let me. Oh, I didn't realize I started sagging so much in my chair. My goodness. Okay, so if you just type in Franchise Empire in YouTube, you can see that, right? Type in Franchise Empire, and that is the channel where we post the most recent podcast episodes. Excuse me, as well as we post these short conversational threads, like 3 to 5 minute conversational threads around different things from the episode too. So sometimes you'll just see different clips that we have, and don't necessarily, they're like the hot takes, right? And don't necessarily need to watch the whole entire episode, but definitely go watch that. Definitely go check it out and subscribe to that YouTube channel if you have not. We finally hit over 1,000 subscribers there, which is pretty cool. I think our main YouTube channel has like close to 35,000 or something like that, the one that's in my name. But we're going to continue to put more and more of the franchise specific stuff in the Franchise Empire YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. That shows blank. And then the podcasts are also on all podcast platforms. So wherever you digest or listen to podcast, we are on all of these platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of these shebangs. And you can check out, just type in Franchise Empire to check that out. I think that's it. Let's see if we have any questions or ones to answer. Jack, I knew someone was going to ask that. I don't know. It depends. They don't publicly disclose. What they disclose in their franchise disclosure document is the sales. So that would be a great question to ask during franchisee validation. And of course, the way this is the answer that no one wants to hear, that no one is satisfied with this answer. Every business owner runs their business different. So like, let's say hypothetically in a business, two people could operate the same business. One person could have an 8% margin EBITDA, right? Which is what most people define as profit, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, right? Someone could have, let's say, an 8% profit margin. You could have someone else who has an 18% profit margin. The more important question becomes like, what's the total owner benefit potentially? And how many hours, like what's the amount of effort and time that they're putting in for the return that they're getting? These are the sort of things you want to ask when you're doing franchisee validation. Because someone may say, hey, I'm doing 25% margins, right? Let's just say I'm doing 25% margins in a random business, right? But it turns out that they are working 60 hours a week. And the reason why they're doing 25% margins is because they don't want to hire people and they're trying to pay themselves as much as they can. And there could be all sorts of other things contributing to it, right? So I get the point in theory, though. It's like, hey, what's the profit potential of the business? 100%. Those are questions for franchisees when you're doing your due diligence and franchisee validation, because you're going to get different answers and understand the nuances for each. Again, so I covered this earlier. How do I contact you for franchise opportunities to get into? Go to franchiseempire.com. There's a blue button in the right-hand corner that says schedule a call, and you can schedule a call with their team as long as you meet the qualifications and requirements, right? You need to have the proper net worth for us to even have a conversation, right? To make sure that you can qualify for franchises, or else we're wasting each other's time. Let's see. What would you recommend doing to find a business or franchise doing work that you love that brings you happiness? I have strong opinions on that. I don't think that's what you should be optimizing for, in my opinion. Like happiness and love, like I think it's a bit of a pipe dream, because the reality is most things with a business are hard. And most of it is, is difficult and work. Um, Even if, again, like I loved making juices and smoothies at home. I was so passionate about it. I could talk about it, the benefits, all this stuff, right? Um, Running a business and hiring a bunch of, 18 to 24-year-olds and being open 363 days a year and operating all this equipment, it was totally different, right? So I just think, if you're looking to go into business, the number one most important thing in a business so you can stay in business is to make money. And it's crazy how much happier you can be when you're making money in a business versus, you could be in a boring business, right? We talked about the facilities business, right? Imagine someone going into, like, you think people love the facilities business? Maybe they like the logistics and all that stuff, but like the average franchisee doing about $8 million in sales, I think it was 7.9 or whatever it was. Um, you know, they're probably a lot happier than if they were running a different franchise that was one of their passions, that they're only doing $600,000 a year in sales, right? Because think of the impact that it has. So I just do not. I've seen so many people wind up accomplishing success, not trying to optimize for happiness, but trying to optimize for what will provide, as well as just what you believe in. Doesn't Just whatever you believe in, right? If you believe, hey, this is a good service that I can stand behind, that's the most important thing, in my opinion. This is a great question. Ooh, this could be like a hot take for a content team to guys, I don't know why it seems like I'm sitting so low. Okay, why do I like franchising so much and not other YouTubers talk about laundromats, car washes, vending machines? When can those actually when I'm assuming you mean when those can actually make passive income? Well, number one, I believe passive income is bullshit. And I think that a lot of people will misrepresent how hard they are actually working, or they don't even realize it. Like sometimes maybe they enjoy running their business so much, right? So it's not the specific business that brings them happiness, but they enjoy running their business so much and the things associated to it that it doesn't feel like work. So they forget the amount of time and energy they're actually putting in. But most of the time, the whole passive income thing, other than like real estate, where you have, you're a landlord, you have tenants, you have a property manager, and like, okay, making money passively, sure. But generally speaking, I just hate everyone wants to sell people on passive income. Uh, a lot of it is the messaging that we put out. We're trying to attract people that want to work hard, that want to build something and get their hands dirty. What I've found is that a lot of people that are looking for passive income have shiny object syndrome. They are looking to try to make the most amount of money while putting in the least amount of effort. You're like, yeah, that sounds good. Sign me up. But here's the thing: that's like almost every really successful person that I know, and how I've started to accomplish some of my goals is by being willing to do the hard work, not of trying to avoid the hard work, not trying to take the easy route. And so I think that's when people get in trouble. So I don't like talking about that sort of stuff. And, my niche is the franchise space. I tried to have a bunch of different businesses, didn't work. Franchising was my launching pad. Franchising's not for everyone, 100%. Like some of you that are watching, I mean, I don't know you personally, but some of you would probably do terrible in a franchise. Why? Because it might drive you crazy. The structures, the systems, all that stuff, whatever. Some of you would really thrive in it. I think franchising is a phenomenal opportunity for those individuals who are like, hey, I'd really love to be an entrepreneur. I do not want to figure it all out for myself. It's so unique. You have a group of other people that are literally running the exact same business as you. Excuse me, that you can call and be like, hey man, my margins are low. What are your margins? How are your margins higher than mine? What are you doing? What's your labor cost? What's your blah, blah, blah? And be able to have these dialogues with other people that are running the exact same business. It's so unique. There is not generally not a community in some of these other businesses, right? And it's not to say there's not like industry groups, networking groups, and stuff like that, but that's kind of my rant on that. Hopefully that answers your question. I have no idea what the Eek Guy formula is. I will look it up. I'm really curious about that now. But yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, the formula to finding happiness. Oh, interesting. You need to be doing something that you love, pays you well, and able to improve on and actually brings value to the world. Oh, that's cool. I have heard of that actually. I didn't know that's what it was called. What you can be paid for, what the world needs, what you love. Yeah, I get it. I think the what you love part can be deceiving. Like I had a buddy that built a massive fire and water restoration business. He didn't love fire and water restoration, but what he loved was developing people. And so he wound up building a business that at one time had 70 employees, and he did really unique things to build up talent, promote within, and help people grow as individuals. So what he was able to discover, after many times going, should I keep doing this? I'm not passionate about fire and water restoration and construction. But he loved marketing, and he was always figuring out all these cool things with his business and ways to grow it. And he loved developing people. And so that's where he put his focus on. So I think the idea of choosing a business in an area that you love, I think is it's not accurate. I think what you do, I love solving problems, and I've always loved puzzles ever since I was a little kid. So like right now we're building out this whole thing in our business, right? A franchise empire, which is pretty complex, and I love it. It's a puzzle, and I'm having to put together these pieces and secure these agreements and build all these systems, and our team will implement the actual building of it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's some of the parts that I love about the business, right? I love helping people achieve their goals and, see that they're starting to create their dream life. So that's what I love about it. So, maybe you go into a business, right? That is, I don't know, maybe just for the example earlier, fire and water restoration, right? And you love connecting with people, and that's what you love, and that's what you focus on in the business. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I think that's a great idea to make a video on that. Excuse me. Yeah. Thank you. I will 100%. I'm going to add that to my content ideas right now. Yeah, thank you for that. So cool, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Like block it off on your calendars. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m. We're going to be doing this. We have added a new addition to our team who's going to start doing these newsletters with me, and maybe at some point even take over doing them. His background is crazy impressive in terms of what he's accomplished in business and franchising, like epic. And he used to own a ton of one of my favorite franchises, at least favorite as a consumer. So TBD, these will get even more fun and exciting. It probably, I don't know, that probably won't happen until the end of the year or until maybe the new year. We'll see. But again, before you leave, make sure to hit the like button, please. So the algorithm shows the video to more people, wherever you're watching, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is. All right, everyone. You guys have a great day.